This is the new Toyota Yaris, and it's rather a lot like the old Toyota Yaris because they haven't...
Stop. Matt, it's completely new. It even looks completely new. Start again.
This is the new Toyota Yaris, and it's nothing at all like the old Toyota Yaris. It looks a lot different. Also, it's got a completely new chassis, and now you can only get it as a hybrid. So this is the kind of car you're going to be considering if you're looking at something like a Ford Fiesta or a Volkswagen Polo, but you want something a bit more Japanese, also known as more reliable. Let's start this review by talking about the new Yaris's design and my favourite angle of it, which is this, the rear end. Looks really good, especially this light design, a spoiler. It's cool, that is. Now, a while ago, Toyotas all used to look really boring, and then they made them super crazy. But now I think they've reached a happy midpoint between acceptable, well, not too in your face, yet still quite zany. Does anyone use the word zany anymore? One thing I should point out is that this is the design model, so it's just one up from basic, but it doesn't look like a basic car. You don't feel like you have to spend lots of money to make this Yaris look good. It just does look good pretty much right out of the box. One thing I should note though is this, look, you get 16-inch alloy wheels as standard. I think it would look better on 17, so I may pay extra for those. But the side profile of this car is really quite cool and sporty. It's cutesy and fun looking, whereas quite a lot of small cars are now just all sensible and square shaped. Yes, I'm talking about the Volkswagen Polo. Here at the front, it's got a really aggressive nose. I like it. Though there is one thing I'm not so keen on though. Check this out, right? This bar here, I don't know why, but they've given it a carbon fibre-y effect. Why'd they do that? It should just been like matte plastic or shiny. I don't mind. Not that anyway, not that Toyota. That's my only complaint though. Let's check out the inside, see what that's like. Toyota has tried to make the inside of this car as exciting as the exterior, and they've sort of achieved that. I do like this layered dash effect. I'm not so keen on the plopped on infotainment system though. Also, the graphics are a little bit washed out. It's not the fastest to respond, and you can't even get it with satellite navigation on any trim level. However, that doesn't matter at all, because the car comes as standard with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you're just going to use that instead. And I do like the fact it's got physical buttons which are just easy to press when you're driving. Moving on to the digital dials. I say digital dials, they're a little bit unusual. So you've got these two pods either side with big blocky graphics, and then there's this central screen which is small and displays various driving information and stuff like that. It works, it's fine. It's just not as slick as the system that you get in a Peugeot 208. Speaking of which, I don't think the materials in here are quite as nice as in the Peugeot. Toyota has put squidgy materials on top of the dash, and the steering wheel feels nice, as does the gear selector, and I like the fabric on the doors. What I'm not so impressed at is the sturdiness of some of the panels. I mean, look at that wobbling. This is wobbling, but the worst offender is this. Check this out. What's that all about? Also, the armrest here has no padding. The one here has little padding. So when you're driving along like that, you actually end up with achy elbows. Nobody wants that, unless you're trying to self-flagellate, which you might be. I can't complain about the comfort of the seats though. They're supportive without being too firm. I like the material as well, it's grippy, it stops you sliding around, and being a Toyota, the driving position is good. They always are in Toyotas. Enough adjustment in the steering wheel and in the seat. You can make it go up and down as well, depending on how tall you are. But my favourite thing, which you got on Toyotas, is this, look, backrests, which you can just, yeah, you get to your ideal position and then it's right there for you. No winding a knob like in European cars, which is annoying. One thing I do find annoying though is this. Well, I like the general layout of stuff, so you've got your climate control separate to your infotainment system, which is good. You can control lots of things through the steering wheel controls, which is good. What's less good though is that for some reason Toyota has put the high beam automatic function down here away from the headlights, which are here. Should just have an extra button on there. Why didn't they do that? And I'm not so keen on this either. The design of the door handle thingy poddy area. Look, the handle's hidden in there, and then there's like this thing to hold on to. It's just weird and bulky, and you eat your knee on it a bit. Why did they do that? I can't complain about the in-car storage. It's actually pretty good. So there's a little ledge there you can store things on. There's another ledge here you can put your mobile phone on, though you'll probably want to put it down here when it doesn't fit quite so well. If you've got a huge one like this Galaxy S20 Ultra, you want it there though because That's where the 12-volt socket is for charging your phone, or your USB input there, which seems mean, doesn't it? Just 2 places for charging in the front of the car. Under here, you've got another tray. So if you're connected by Bluetooth, you can just put your phone in there. There's some storage under here for your bottles and stuff. And the door bins are large enough to take very big bottles. But if you don't want to keep it there, there is room in the glove box, which is adequate in size for a big bottle as well. Look, there we go. Anyway, let's check out the back seats. So, this Yaris is okay in the back. Knee room is enough for me, but then I'm all torso and very little legs. So I've got the legs of someone who's 5'9" and the torso of someone who's 6 foot. Speaking of which, if you're over 6 foot, you'll have just about enough headroom. Look, not loads, but you can get away with it if you need to carry 3 in the back at once. So that'll be fun for people. Well, there isn't too much of a hump in the floor, so there's enough room for everyone's feet. Whoever gets this middle seat is going to really, really hate their life. It's going to be torture. In fact, if you want to carry 3 people in the back of your small car regularly, you're going to be better off with a Volkswagen Polo. But what happens if you need to carry a child seat, such as one of those large rear-facing seats? Well, actually getting it into the car is quite easy because the doors open nice and wide. The Isofix anchor points are easy to get to, though you do have them under flip-off covers, which you do lose, as we've lost here. Look, they're there, not flip-off cover. You'll lose those. Another problem is that you're going to have to push this front passenger seat all the way forward to squeeze it in here. Now, it's not all bad news, though, because look, oh yeah, the rear windows, they go all the way down, so you can rest your arm like that, which I used to do when I was growing up in the 80s when we didn't have air conditioning, so the windows were always down regardless. Kids probably don't do that so much today. Anyway, let's move on to the boot because things do get a little worse. There. You see, the Yaris has the smallest boot of its competitors. In fact, it's slightly smaller than the old Yaris's boot. It's 286 litres, whereas Volkswagen Polos, and I keep referring to that car, but it's quite a big, spacious, small car, its boot is 350 litres, which sounds like a lot. Thing is, though, what you see on paper isn't how it works out in practice. So you can fit 5 of these airplane-style carry-on suitcases in the boot of this Yaris underneath the load cover, which is the same that you can squeeze into a Polo. Looks as though Toyota somehow just makes more use of its literage. And you might have just thought, Matt, you had to lift this up over a lip and you didn't complain about it. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain it in a moment. You see, you'll probably now look at that and go, oh no, look at the ridge, how are you going to push these things to the front? Look, it won't go, it's difficult for you. Well, you see, the car does come with a false floor, which makes that completely flat. Look, you can see the little holders for it there. For some reason though, this one's been lost. It was delivered this way by Toyota. Should have one if you buy the car, but double check. Now let's check out the engine. I'll keep this very brief because Toyota has. You have but one choice, and that is a 1.5 litre petrol engine mated to an electric motor which drives the front wheels via automatic gearbox. Now we're going to play the game of where's the release catch. Oh, I found it very easy first time. So here it is in all its glory. Yay! Really, when it comes to this Toyota Yaris, it's just a case of choosing which trim level you want. So this particular car is in the one up from the entry level. It's called the Design, and it costs from just under £21,000. Now you probably won't bother doing that if you've already been put off this car by the fact that it's only available as a hybrid and you might just want a normal petrol or even a diesel. And that brings it on to 5 annoying things about the new Toyota Yaris. This car seems to be made out of the thinnest, cheapest metal known to man. Have a listen to this when you open and shut the door. It's not exactly sturdy, in fact, look. The number plate plinth isn't quite large enough for a standard UK number plate. And because they've mounted it so it actually ends just at the bottom of this plastic section, it hangs over a bit like a fat person's muffin top, and that really bothers my OCD. The entry-level Yaris has wind-up windows, which seems a little bit shocking for a car that starts from £19,000. They're not as shocking as this, look. When you do have the electric windows, they don't seem to have anti-pinch, so imagine those are your fingers. Oh dear. Because this car is a hybrid, the normal 12-volt battery is quite small. So if you actually park up and you use a lot of the car's functions while you're stationary not driving and your hybrid battery is depleted, you can quite easily also deplete that little 12-volt battery and then the car won't start. Believe me, I know, because it's happened to me. And if you want to see exactly how it happened, wait to the end of the video, because you'll see for yourself. You can get the Toyota Yaris with a panoramic glass roof, which is good. What's not so good though is that when you have that fitted, you no longer have a space saver spare wheel. It is replaced with some tyre sealant, which is pretty useless. I think the reason for that is that the glass roof adds weight to the car, so Toyota has to then remove some weight from elsewhere, the spare wheel, to help keep the emissions down. But with that logic, really we should make everyone go to the toilet before they get in the car, because that will help keep emissions down in more ways than one. Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. If you fancy just driving around on electric power alone, you can do by pressing EV mode. Nothing new, the old Yaris Hybrid would do that. However, this one will run in EV mode up to 80 miles an hour, though you probably won't be able to do it that long before you deplete the battery. This Yaris has airbags built into the sides of the front passenger seat. The idea is that if someone hits you from the side, the airbag pops out of there to stop you hitting your passenger. I'll illustrate it now, look. So, oh no, I've just been hit from the side, I'm going to crash into my passenger. Oh yeah, cushioning. What the heck is this? Some weird blown up rubberized rabbit?
Yeah, sorry, it's my daughter's, that's all we had.
Weird. If you're a clumsy parker, don't worry, this car will automatically brake when it senses you're getting close to an obstacle, so you don't have lots of parking dings and prangs. The Yaris gets automatic cruise control right across the range. It'll brake, it'll accelerate, it'll keep you safe distance from the car in front, it'll steer to keep you in lane, to make your life commuting as easy as possible. That's the kind of system you have to pay extra for, even on £100,000 top-end German cars. Good old Toyota. Another classic Toyota thing is this sticker here. It's not actually the sticker that matters, it's what it means. You've got a 5-year warranty, 100,000 miles. It's great. Let's find out what this little Toyota Yaris is like to drive, starting off with in town. Suspension is actually comfy over bumps. It's good. It's fine, I like that. I also like the fact that it's an automatic. It just makes it easier for pottering around. Steering is light as well, so turning and stuff is all just effortless. One thing I'm not so keen on though are the brakes, because when you brake you regain lost energy to charge up the battery. They can feel a little bit grabby when you first press them, a bit like, oh no, yeah. While rear visibility isn't great, the rest of it is good, and you get a parking camera as standard. Yeah, it's easy to do. And of course, if you're about to hit a car, you've got that special system which will automatically brake the car rather than your bumper, which is good. That camera's really handy actually. Anyway, let's go. Now if as a real show off, I could press the EV mode button and go into electric only mode to drive around silently in town. Unfortunately, it's not letting me do it. It says EV mode unavailable, hybrid battery low, even though it's saying that I've got half the battery. Odd, because I'm actually in electric mode now. With these hybrid systems, I never actually bother with that EV mode, to tell you the truth, because it's pointless, because the system just works out what's best overall. Look, electric mode is best now. If I want to go faster, engine cuts in, and you hardly notice it apart from the fact you get that added thrust. It's good. Toyota have got their hybrid systems nailed down, I can tell you that much. They've been doing it a long time. On faster roads or the motorway, the Yaris is okay, but it doesn't have that big car for a small car feel that you get from a Volkswagen Polo or a Seat Ibiza. It's just a little bit noisier in here. Also, when you come to overtake, it becomes even more noisy because the car holds its engine at high revs. That beeping is because I'm crossing the white line, it's just warning me. I know it's going on Toyota, don't worry. So, like I say, the engine just stays at high revs, it sort of groans. It's because of the car's automatic gearbox. It accelerates using the gears rather than the engine. It's called a continuously variable transmission, though I think you could rename it as continuously vocal transmission. Tell you what I'm not going to whine about though, and that's the economy, because I'm getting 58 miles per gallon. That's good, I'll take that, thank you very much. I'll also take the fact that I can just put this car into cruise control mode and just let it do the hard work. It's going to keep me a safe distance from the car in front by using its radar technology, and it's looking at the white lines and steering to automatically keep me in the centre of the lane. I'm having to do very little. I think it's absolutely brilliant that you get that technology on this level of car. As standard! Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, Mercedes. Learn from Toyota. Don't be such bloody tightwads. Finally, let's see what this little Yaris is like on a twisty road. So the good news is that it doesn't fall over when you chuck it into a corner. In fact, it holds on pretty well. A lot better than I was thinking. Dare I say it, it's almost good fun. It's not quite as sporty feeling or as playful as a Ford Fiesta. It's actually very, very good. One of the more fun small cars you can buy. A hybrid that's economical, but also fun. What's happening to the world? So then, what's my final verdict on the new Toyota Yaris? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Yaris. It's a really nice little car and very economical. Plus, because it's a Toyota, it shouldn't ever break down unless you run out of battery. This new Yaris has lost its mind. Hybrid system stopped, shift into position P. It is in position P, you stupid car. What's going on with you? Braking power low, visit your dealer. It's buggered. Yeah, it's lost its mind. It's gone crazy. Can't do anything with it. First time ever, a Toyota has gone wrong on me.